Key facts and concepts of agriculture in India. Agriculture includes raising of crops from the land, animal husbandry, agroforestry, and pisciculture. India is preeminently an agricultural country. Agriculture and allied sectors contribute about 20% of our GDP. Agri-exports contribute only about 10% of India's total exports. So what are the salient features of Indian agriculture? Subsistence nature, that is farming on a small piece of land by family members themselves. Increasing pressure of population on agriculture. Major role played by the animals used in various operations like plowing, irrigation, threshing, transportation, etc. Dependence upon monsoons, which are very uncertain, unreliable and irregular. Variety of crops due to varied types of relief, climate and soil conditions. Predominance of food crops, which are covering 2/3 of the total cropped area. Insignificant place given to fodder crops, despite India being home to the largest population of livestock. Seasonal patterns, under which India has 3 major crop seasons. The first is the Kharif season, which starts with the onset of monsoons and continues till the beginning of winter. Rice, maize, jowar, bajra, cotton, sesame, groundnut are important crops of this season. The second season is the Rabi season, which starts at the beginning of winter and continues till the beginning of summer. The major crops of this season are wheat, barley, jowar, gram and oilseeds. The last season, that is Zaid, is the cropping season in which crops like rice, maize, groundnut, vegetables and fruits are grown. Crops native to India: rice, sesame, cotton, safflower, cucumber, eggplant, banana, mango, pepper, tea, cardamom and citrus fruits are native to India. Crops which were introduced into India were wheat, maize, grams, jute, potato, carrot, cabbage, spinach, soya beans, watermelon, tobacco, mustard, cashew and coffee. Also rubber, sapota, guava, custard apple, walnuts, papaya, apple, pear, pomegranate, lychee, coconut and cinnamon. Problems of Indian agriculture. The first problem is small and fragmented holdings. This problem is more acute in densely populated and intensively cultivated states like Kerala, West Bengal, Bihar and Eastern Uttar Pradesh. The main reason behind this is our inheritance laws. The second problem are the seeds. Good quality seeds are out of reach for the majority of our farmers, especially the small and marginal farmers. The third problem is manures, fertilizers and biocides. Overuse of these materials in order to increase the production leads to many side effects. The fourth problem is irrigation. Indian agriculture is monsoon dependent, which is very uncertain and unreliable. Moreover, there is a lack of irrigation facilities. The fifth problem is the lack of mechanization. Most of agricultural operations in larger parts are carried on by human hand using simple and conventional tools. This results in low yields per capita labor force. The sixth problem is soil erosion, which happens due to unscientific and irrational agricultural practices. Now let's take a look at the other important information about agriculture. Let's take a look at the land use pattern in India. The land use pattern in India relates to the physical characteristics of the land. The institutional and other resources framework like labor and capital available, and all these aspects which are interconnected with economic development. India has a total land area of approximately 320 million hectares. Mostly, land utilization statistics are obtainable for almost 93% of the entire area, that is around 300 million hectares. It is considerable to note that every forefather over the past 8,000 years or so have been successful in harboring nearly 140 million hectares of land from the natural ecosystem to agriculture. From the time of independence, people have been successful to add another 22 million hectares. As a result, 162 million hectares of land excels as the net sown area at present. It forms a stupendous percentage as high as 51%. No other large country is as fortunate as India in this regard. Reporting and non-reporting land. The land for which the data on classification of land use is available is known as reporting land. In some cases, the reporting land is that land where the land use pattern figures are supported on land records and are based on village records or papers. These records are preserved by the village revenue agency, and here the data is completely based on the details of entire areas. In cases where the records are not preserved, the estimates are mostly based on sample surveys. Thus, the statistics of land use pattern are based on these two methods. On the other hand, the lands where no data is available are known as non-reporting lands. Uncultivated land. According to the available land use statistics, there has been a slight increase in the net sown area. Almost 28 million hectares have been added over the passing few decades. Around 1.3% of the land is under fruit trees. Nearly 5% of the land falls in the category of uncultivated land, which is cultivated once every 2 to 3 years. Thus, nearly about 51% of the whole area on an average is cultivated once a year. The uncultivated lands are subsidiary lands and are kept so as to re-establish their richness. Its use depends upon high quality and timely rains too. Our net sown area is about 145 million hectares. The all India average consumption of fertilizers per hectare is around 96 kgs. India is the third largest producer and consumer of fertilizers in the world after China and the US. India ranks first in milk production and fifth in egg production in the world. Canal irrigation area is about 29% of the total irrigated area in the country, with Uttar Pradesh being the leading state in this area, followed by Andhra Pradesh. Ragi, which is native to India, is also known as buckwheat. 66% of the world's total jute production comes from India. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane in the world after Brazil. India is the third largest producer of natural rubber, next only to Thailand and Indonesia. India is also the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables and the largest producer and consumer of tea in the world. In onion production, Gujarat ranks first, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. The highest yield of wheat comes from Punjab, followed by Haryana. So let's take a look at the Green Revolution. The term Green Revolution is applied to the period from 1967 to 1978. It generally refers to the successful agricultural experiments in many third world countries. There were three basic elements in the method of Green Revolution: continued expansion of farming areas, double cropping existing farmlands, and using seeds with improved genetics. So what were the components of Green Revolution? 1 were the high-yielding varieties of seeds. Second was irrigation, use of fertilizers, command area development, land reforms, rural electrification, improved farm mechanisms, use of insecticides and pesticides, consolidation of holdings, supply of agricultural credit. The complementary nature of these components turned the Green Revolution into a package reform. So what was the impact of the Green Revolution? Green Revolution has influenced the economy and way of life in India to a great extent. Following are its major impacts: the increase in agricultural production, prosperity of farmers, a reduction in import of food grains, capitalistic farming, plowing back of profit, industrial growth, and rural employment. The demerits of Green Revolution were the intercrop imbalances, regional disparities, increase in interpersonal inequalities, and unemployment. The major crops of India and their nature. Food crops: rice, wheat, maize, jowar, ragi, barley, pulses were food crops. Cotton, jute, sugarcane, tobacco, oilseeds, groundnuts, linseed, and castor seed are the cash crops. Tea, coffee, rubber, spices such as pepper, cardamom, chilies, ginger, and turmeric are the plantation crops. Let's take a look at irrigation in India. India is primarily an agricultural country. About 70% of its people depend on it. Since agriculture is not possible without water, we have to depend on rains for the fields. But the rains are not uniform throughout the year. And rains happen majoritarily only during the rainy season in India from June to September. And then too it is not uniform over all areas of India. The rivers get flooded and damage the life, property and crops. Some parts are also left without rainfall. Apart from that, rainfall also varies from year to year. Thus, for agriculture to be successful, we need regular watering for our crops. And this is known as irrigation. Let's take a look at the means of irrigation. Tanks. Rainwater collects in the lowlands in the form of tanks and ponds. This is perhaps the oldest means of irrigation in India. This means of irrigation is used in the Deccan Plateau and in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The land is uneven and rocky. It can store water for irrigation. Huge tanks have been constructed for irrigating the land. About 12% of the agricultural land is being irrigated by tanks in India. The second means of irrigation are the wells. Most of the rainwater flows down the rivers and streams. Some of the water gets soaked by the soil. It goes on collecting on the hard rocky bed under the soil. And this underground water is brought to the surface by wells and tube wells. A large and deep hole is made into the earth's surface up to the water level. These are known as artesian wells. The water collects in the wells and is used for drinking as well as for irrigating the land. It is pulled out of the well by means of pulley, wheel or lever as shown on the right hand side. Persian wheel was used for irrigating the fields for a long time. It is an old device now. The other irrigation device are tube wells. This is the means of irrigation for about 40% of the land in the plain areas. A deep bore is made in the earth's surface up to the water table. A pipe or a tube is fixed in this bore. An electric pump set or a diesel pump set is used to pump out water through this tube or pipe. It is known as a tube well. This is the most commonly used means of irrigation in the Gangetic Plain or the Northern Fertile Plain. The underground water is available there because the land is even and soft. A borehole can be made easily and electricity is also available. Tube wells are mostly used for irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. Canals. Canals are a means of irrigation for almost 40% of agricultural land in India. The rivers in the northern parts of India flow down the Himalayas and are water throughout the year. This water is taken through canals to irrigate the land in faraway areas. Canals are used for irrigating the land in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and northern Rajasthan. Dams are huge and high walls which are built across the rivers to hold water. The water of the river collects in the form of a lake and is taken through canals to irrigate the fields when required. Such dams have been built across many of the rivers in northern as well as southern parts of India. The water in these dams is used to generate electricity. This electricity is then supplied to nearby places. Electricity generated from water is called hydroelectricity. Multi-purpose power projects. There are some 600 projects big and small in India. Some of these projects serve more than one purpose. They control floods, store water for irrigation, and generate hydroelectric power. The water of the dam forms a lake where fish are reared. It is developed as a tourist resort and boating is also done. Since they serve a number of purposes, they are known as multi-purpose power projects. Some of the most important multi-purpose projects are the Bhakra Nangal project, Damodar Valley project, Hirakud Dam, the Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, Krishna Sagar Dam, Farakka Barrage, Pong Dam, Thain Dam, Tungabhadra project, Kosi project, Sone Canal project, and the Rajasthan Canal project. The Bhakra Nangal project. This is the biggest multi-purpose river valley project in India. It has been built across the river Satluj at a place called Bhakra in Himachal Pradesh. It is a joint project of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and Rajasthan. costing about 175 crores, and it is the highest dam in Asia and the second highest in the world. It is also 226 meters high. This dam forms a huge lake called the Gobind Sagar behind it, and is the biggest man-made lake in the world. Some powerhouses have been built on both sides of the dam which produce electricity. At Nangal, which is about 13 kilometers downstream from Bhakra Dam, a 29-meter high barrage has been built. It is called the Nangal Dam. It supplies water to the Bhakra Canal, which carries water to Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. This canal is about 1,100 kilometers long and the length of its distributaries is about 3,000 kilometers. The Hirakud Dam. This dam has been built across the river Mahanadi. It is the longest dam in the world and it has been built for the prosperity of Orissa. It controls floods, supplies water for irrigation and generates hydroelectric power. The Damodar Valley Project. Damodar was the most turbulent river in Bihar. It caused great havoc through floods in Bihar. A number of dams have been built across the tributaries of this river, which control floods, produce electricity, and supply water for irrigation to Bihar and West Bengal. The Tungabhadra Project. Tungabhadra is a tributary of the river Krishna. A dam has been built across the Tungabhadra. It produces electricity and stores water for irrigation of land in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. The Kosi Project. River Kosi is a tributary of the Ganga. The Kosi project across the river Kosi benefits Nepal and Bihar. Some environmental scientists and social workers are protesting against the construction of new dams. They fear that the construction of dams will disturb the environmental balance. A large area of the land under the forests and a large tract of fertile land along with villages and towns will be submerged in water. This will add to the miseries of the people living in those areas. Therefore, activists like Sundarlal Bahuguna and Medha Patkar are protesting against the construction of the Tehri Dam Narmada project.